If you're gay, then you're gay. Don't pretend that you're straight. You could be who you are any day of the week.
I got all the gun and came up to this thing. Looking so fire, I turn it out of 10. I saw you watching me on the floor. Hitting me like, what you waiting for? It's all about to say you want it. Get inside my dirty mind. Burns like ice, the way you bring it again and again and again. No lie. The beat just dropped and the room got sexy. You're watching me like there's no one else around. I know you want it like it's one can it. So keep watching me go down and up and down. Down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Down, up and down, up and down, up and down. All of them girls you with the body hating me. But I don't care because I know it's still asleep. So they see me on your lip, they think I'll beat it up. But I ain't easy, it's not for toothbrush. It's alright to say you want it. Get inside my dirty mind. Burns like ice, the way I bring it again and again and again. No lie. The beat just dropped and the mood got sexy. You're watching me like there's no one else around. I know you want it like it's one can it. So keep watching me go down and up and down. Down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Down, up and 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 down. Down, up and down, up and down, up and down. I can almost feel my lace slipping off cause of the face. I can tell that's what you're tripping on, tripping on, tripping on. I can almost feel my lace slipping off cause of the face. I can tell that's what you're tripping on, tripping on, tripping on. You just dropped and the mood got sexy. You watch at me like there's no one around. I know you want it like it's one can it. So keep watching me go down and down. You just dropped and the mood got sexy. You watch at me like there's no one around. I know you want it like it's one can it. So keep watching me go down and down, up and down.
Hey, what's up, you guys? That song is Up and Down by Britney Spears off her Female Fatigue. I'm going to skip the rest of the Britney Spears song, except for the next one that we're doing, which is Pretty Girls, featuring Iggy Azalea, and that is for next week. So in the last chapter, apparently Niall, we found out that Louis passed out from having the babies, and Harry's having a little bit of a problem, thinking that he died. And Niall and Liam apparently went to the hospital, and so, yeah. Niall's point of view. Fine now. He just lost a lot of blood, and his heart stopped. Then they had to shock him back to life. I was so worried. They let me see him after when he woke up, but now he's sleeping, Harry explained. I let out a breath, and I didn't know I was holding out. Oh, thank God, I sighed as Liam wrapped an arm around my waist from behind. What about the babies, Liam? Liam asked Harry, smiling. And Liam, what about babies? Liam asked, and Harry smiled. They're in the nursery. Would you guys like to meet the triplets? He asked happily. I smiled brightly and nodded. Of course, I said. Follow me, he said as he started to walk down the hall to where the babies were being held in. We got to the room that was blocked off by a glass wall. Inside were 3 little babies, 2 girls and 1 boy between them. This little girl here is Lacey? Harry said, pointing at the girl to the far left. And this little boy is Britton. He said, pointing at the baby in the middle. And last but not least, Anne. He said, pointing to the baby on the end. As he said their names, his eyes sparkled and smiled widely at them. They're beautiful, Harry, I said, and he smiled with a nod. Thank you, he said, not taking his eyes off the babies. Who was born first and second? Liam asked. Britton was first, Lacey was second, and Anne is a bit smaller than her siblings, as you can tell. He said, and with worry in his voice, he looked up at the smaller of the 3 with his hand on the glass window separating him from the sleeping babies. I went up to him and put a hand on his shoulder. She'll be fine, I asked as he nodded sadly before our nurse came over to us. Mr. Stiles, would you like to hold your babies? She asked, and he smiled brightly and nodded happily. We'll be in the waiting room, Hayes, I said. placing a hand on my stomach. He nodded before following the nurse into the baby's room. Harry's point of view. I'm so happy Louis is okay. Louis okay. I don't know what I would do without him. I don't think I would be able to raise 3 kids on my own. When I walked back into the hospital room, I was so relieved. Flashback. I sat there bawling my eyes out when the doctor came out with Louis' blood all over him. He's fine. His heart stopped, but we brought him back. No need to worry, son, he said. I smiled widely and ran over to him. Can I see him? I asked, and he nodded, pointing to the room, and I ran inside and looked around. Right before my eyes landed on my beautiful fiancé. Harry, he croaked, tryly. A lazy smile on his face. I smiled at my tears came back, and I went over to him, wrapping my arms around him tightly. Oh my God, Louis, I thought I lost you. The machine beeped, and you passed out, and they had to shock you. I was cut off with a kiss. A lazy one, but I really didn't care. Every kiss was perfect with him. When he pulled back, he cut my face, and I looked into his eyes. I'm here, Harry. I'm alive, and so are our babies. The doctor told me they were perfectly fine. I can't wait to see them, he said, and I smiled. Why don't you take a nap, right? And right when you wake up, you can hold them for the very first time since them being in your tummy, I said, and smiled. Okay, did you text Niall? He asked, and I shook my head. Tell him to come here, he said, and I nodded, kissing his forehead. I will. Now sleep, honey. You'll see your triplets soon. I said as he closed his eyes. I ran my finger through his hair repeatedly, soothing me. Once I heard a soft snoring, I smiled and took my phone out. I sent a text to Niall and sent it back into the plastic hospital chair. Thank God he's okay. And a flashback. Now I'm going to hold my babies for the first time. I understand that the little girl is smaller than the other two. She should catch up with them soon. We just have to give her a different formula, then make her gain a bit of weight, so she also has to stay until she is the right weight. Her brother is 6 pounds and 9 ounces. Her sister is 6 pounds and 7 ounces, while she is 5 pounds and 8 ounces. Nurse explains, standing by Anne. How long do you think that it will take? I asked. It shouldn't be too long, considering she really only needs to gain a pound, maybe about a week, the longest. She said. I nodded, going over to the little girl and picking her up slowly. I never realized how small newborns actually were until I held Anne in my arms. She wiggled a bit, but smiled, and I laughed quietly as a tear rolled down my face. She looked exactly like Louis. Everything about her feathery hair, her cute little nose, her face structure, everything. She made a small noise, making me smile widely at her. Her eyes started to open. They were the brightest of blues, as beautiful as Louise. She looked up at me with a tired squint in her eyes and blinked a few times. Hello, beautiful baby. I'm your daddy. I cooed at her. She poked her hand out of the pink blanket. She was wrapped tightly in fisted the air, and I bounced her a bit. Her eyes fed her closed as soon as she fell asleep again. I put her back in the little crib, and I went to Britton. He was still sleeping as I picked him up carefully. He looked at me, his curly hair, his nose, face structure, just like me. He also began to open his eyes, and he had green eyes. Hey there, handsome, he said quietly. He made a small whine as he yawned. I smiled as more tears rolled down my face. I didn't get to pick up Lacey as the nurse walked in. Mr. Styles, Louis is awake and asking for you and the babies, she said. I nodded as I set Britton down and went to Lacey's crib. The nurse wheeled Britton and Anne to the room as I took Lacey and got a good look at her. She was the perfect mixture of both of us. Her hair was feathery, but curled at the ends. She had Louis' facial structure and my nose. Now I can't wait until she opens her eyes. When we got to the hospital room, Louis was sitting up, and he looked a lot better. He had a bright smile on his face, and he wasn't as pale as he was before. He obviously fixed his hair up a bit, as it wasn't as messy. Meet the triplets. Louis' point of view. As I saw the nurse walk in, I smiled brightly at the cribs and Harry. "Meet the triplets," Harry said as the nurse left. He went over to one of the cribs and picked up one of the girls. "This is Anne," he said, handing me her. As I smiled down at her, as a few tears rolled down my face. "Why is she so small?" I asked, not taking my eyes off the beautiful little girl in my arms. "She was born last, and they said they were going to have to give her a special formula to help her gain weight. She has to stay here for a week. She only has to gain 1 pound before she is healthy enough to go home. She looks exactly like you, and she has the wonderful bright blue eyes," he said, and I smiled. "She does?" I asked as he smiled with a nod, kissing my temple. He walked back over to the cribs and picked up my little boy and brought him over, placing him in my other arm. I started to cry more. He made me look up into his eyes as he wiped my tears away. "He looks just like you," I said, and he smiled. "I know, his eyes are green also," he said. I smiled and looked back down at my very handsome son. "He's going to be the heartbreaker," I said as Harry nodded, laughing lightly. Then he went back and I watched as he reached into the last crib, picking up Lacey. I haven't got a chance to hold her yet," he said as he held her close to his chest, walking over to me and sitting on the side of the bed so we could both look at her. "She's beautiful, they all are," I whispered. He nodded with me as a smile and tears went down both of our faces. He turned to move closer to me. "You did it, baby. You brought our children into this world," he said. I smiled, looking into his eyes. I didn't make them on my own," I said. He smiled laughingly. "You got a point there, but the job wasn't easy. But your job wasn't easy," he said, and I shrugged. "No, it wasn't, but I would do it all over again to bring another life into our family," I said truthfully. He looked over with loving eyes before leaning in and kissing my lips firmly before pulling away. "I love you so much, and the babies," he said, looking at them. I looked at all of them too and nodded. "I love you so much," I said, and he rested his forehead on mine, making me look at him again. "Our family is more perfect than it already was," he said as I smiled and nodded. "It is." So, that's the end of this chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. It was fun. And, I want to pose this question again. If you guys had children, what would you name them? Let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, gay is okay. Just ask the GSA. Mwah.